Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Welcome to another edition of Heavyweight News in Brief, and this one, it is really action-packed, so stay tuned, buckle in, and let's go. First up, so Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, you can see this on screen, they have met ahead of their March 3rd encounter at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So the face-off occurred at a PBC and Showtime event, which was showcasing and highlighting and announcing a raft of upcoming events. And looking at these two close up here, I mean, it does highlight the obvious height advantage that Wilder has, but according to the stats, it will be Ortiz who does have the 1-inch reach advantage. And just a sidebar here, we had Wilder unofficially announce the clash in December, a wafer-thin press release issued in mid-January to confirm the event with Ortiz, and now there's a 30-second face-off tacked on to another event. I mean, my question is, where is the official news conference? Where's the hype, the hoopla? I mean, do they want this thing to sell well? I mean, you'd assume so. We're 5 weeks out from fight night, but there's not much happening here. Not many column inches are being dedicated to this fight right now beyond the boxing media. I mean, even if you take YouTube coverage as a guide, in the context of all the recent heavyweight news and fights being made, how much coverage has the Wilder-Ortiz fight garnered? Probably not nearly enough. I mean, especially given the magnitude of the event. So my rant over on that one. Okay, to a roundup of some Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker related news. So more than 70,000 tickets for the March 31st unification matchup at the Principality Stadium, Wales, have been sold. Several thousand more are to go on sale on the 29th of January, and it looks like this will be a sellout. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua's trainer believes Joshua's optimal weight on fight night should be somewhere around 247 or 248 pounds. Rob McCracken has told Sky Sports they'll see how Joshua feels during the sparring, doing the longer rounds, and they'll work out an optimum weight for him. And I would just note here, and let's just keep what he's saying there in context of an interview Joshua gave the other week. So Joshua told the BBC 10 days ago that he had lost 6 kilograms or 13 pounds since weighing in at a career heaviest 254 pounds for the Carlos Takam fight in October 2017. And he was commenting on how good he was now feeling at the lighter weight. So that put him at about 240, 241 pounds. So whether some misdirection is at play here on the weight front, who knows? We will only find out at the weigh-in. And if you're in New Zealand or Australia, you're no doubt wondering, how much is this unification going to set me back on the pay-per-view? So I've been getting a few questions about this from you, and also I've been getting questions about who's going to be sparring Joseph Parker in his training camp. So I've gone to the source, Duco Events, which promotes Parker, to see what I could find out. So see on screen here the entirety of the statement that I've got back. No sparring partners have been named yet. That's not to say they won't be soon. But on the pay-per-view front, it could cost less than $50. And I guess the two logical options, because we've both seen them before, $39.95, $49.95. And Parker's last fight, I would note, against Hughie Fury was $39.95. But given this is a much bigger occasion, bigger event, who knows, it could be higher. But if you do convert the UK pay-per-view cost of £20 into New Zealand dollars, for example, that comes out at $38.50. Some food for thought. Rising contender Jarrell Miller is hopeful he'll be in line for a title shot if he beats undefeated prospect Trevor Bryan in April. Bryan has not been, and I've got to say this again, has not been confirmed as yet as Miller's opponent, but the American is confident he will be, saying, "I'll knock his block off." Miller has told Sky Sports he hopes the IBF and WBA will sanction that fight against Bryan as an elimination match, because he wants his title shot. And on his title aspirations, Big Baby Miller has been quoted as saying, "I think I deserve it now. To tell you the truth, compared with these guys who AJ has fought, who Deontay has fought for their title shot, who Joseph Parker fought for their title shot, it's crazy. I feel like I deserve it after this fight, after I put Trevor Bryan to sleep. So that's how it is." Rising heavyweight prospect Daniel Dubois, his next fight date has been shelved, with his promoter Frank Warren cancelling the February 10th Untouchables event in London. A recent illness to Dubois has actually been partially behind the cancellation, with promoter Frank Warren saying, "Our team has received news that heavyweight sensation Daniel Dubois has been unable to train most of the last week due to illness. We, along with his management team, feel it would be an unnecessary risk for him to fight on this date." A ring return for Tyson Fury is looking more and more promising after it emerged the Gypsy King has lost a significant amount of weight recently. Tyson Fury has told Box Nation, "Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of weight to shift, and I still have. But I've lost 4 stone, so it's a good start. I've lost it in about 8 weeks. I'm training twice a day, every day." And 4 stone, that is the equivalent of 25 kilograms, so it's a fair chunk of beef to shift. And here is a photo of Fury from September, and here's another from a few days ago. The difference is certainly notable. And in that same interview, and this is sort of Fury banging on about some of the same old stuff, he says of Anthony Joshua, "Joshua will be my easiest fight, even easier than Vladimir Klitschko, even after 2.5 years out of the ring." Speaking of fighters in their weight, unbeaten Australian heavyweight Lucas Browne has told a fan on social media he plans to weigh about 120 kilograms when he fights Dillian Whyte on March 24th. And that's the equivalent of 264 pounds. When Browne fought Ruslan Chagaev in what was his career best performance, he was 113.1 kilograms. And Browne had this to say as well on social media.
Last weekend here in Perth, before I head back over to Sydney for the Hard Ass camp, the proper sparring partners for those people who are so concerned with the pictures that I'm putting up of my sparring partners, and then heading over to Manchester with Ricky to spar Chisora and Gorman and things like that. So for everyone who's concerned about what I'm doing, don't be, because it's all under control. But thank you for your concern. Yeah, loving this sun. I'm gonna miss it when I'm over there.
Former heavyweight title challenger Bryant Jennings will be back in the ring next month. The 21-2 American will take on Artur Muralimov, who was 16-3, and one of those losses being to Jarrell Miller. And just rounding out the video, and this is straight out of they should have done this years ago, but the International Boxing Federation / United States Boxing Association, yes, it is the same thing, or was the same thing, otherwise known as the IBF, it will now be known by the shorter name of International Boxing Federation, which still shortens down to IBF. And I know many people did think it was already the shorter version, but there we go. So what you're seeing on screen is the tidied up logo that they've produced to support the official name change. Okay, so what do you make of all of that? There was a number of interesting stories that have been going on. I thought I want to get to some of them. I'll give some bite-sized chunks and we'll just do it that way. So drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.